Hello everyone, my name is Gabe, and this is episode 1 to making a game in Unity. In this series, I'm going to be teaching you how to make a game completely from scratch using Unity 3D. We're going to be using Unity 5, which is the latest version. Let's start off by getting Unity. So to get Unity, you have to go to unity3d.com. I'll include the link in the description. Hit Get Unity right here, and free download. You can download the engine for free, and the latest version right now is 5.2.3. Alright, so after you have that downloaded and fully installed and open it, you should come to something that looks very similar to this. You have a Getting Started tab here and Projects. And we're going to make a new project. So, new project. I will just save it to the desktop in a folder. Actually, wait, that's probably not right. I'll just make a new folder here called Unity Tutorial. I don't even know if I fucking wrote that right. Yeah, there we go, Unity Tutorial. So, find the folder. Where is it? Unity Tutorial. Select, and we're going to be making a 3D project. Unity YouTube tutorial. Alright, create project. And I have the pro version of Unity, so mine might look a little different from yours, as you'll see in a moment. Alright, so this is what Unity should look like, or something very similar to this. Mine is a dark theme because I have Unity Pro. Yours might be a light theme. So let me go over how to use the editor. You probably won't have these tabs, the animator and animation, and you might also not have lighting, navigation, and profiler. You might have just the inspector here, hierarchy, projects, console, and scene and game. So obviously these are tabs, so I'm going to be going over what each of them do. Scene is how your scene looks, or everything in your scene, and scene, I guess you can call a level. You can see the scene in like different ways. You have shaded wireframe, but we don't have to worry about that yet. We have a tab for 2D for orthographic. Is that orthographic or perspective? I'm pretty sure that's, yeah. So this is an orthographic projection, which is 2D, and perspective, lighting, which can be disabled in the editor, but will still work in the game. And you can just toggle sound in the editor, and you can toggle the skybox in the editor, and other things like fog and stuff like that. Game is just, this is your game window, so when you press play, let it just load. Okay, so when you press play, it should just look like this. There's nothing happening. We don't have any game going on yet. You can maximize on play, which will just make it a lot bigger when you start it. You can mute the audio. You can show things like frames per second or stats. You can show things like stats here. You have gizmos, which we'll go over later. Over here in the projects tab, you have favorites, which we're not going to use probably ever. Assets, this is our assets folder. So if we go to the desktop, and if we open our project, you see this assets folder. Everything that's in here is right here. So if I make a folder in here called scripts, it'll pop up right here. Or if I make a folder in here called scenes, there it is. So that's pretty simple. In scripts, we don't have to worry about that later, or we don't have to worry about that yet. Scenes, we'll just save our scene right now. So if you hit File and save scene, or you could just hit Control S and go to scenes, and I'm just gonna call this game. And now we have a game scene in here, so when we double click it, we will load this scene. let's see, console. Anything printed to our console will obviously appear in here. Clear will just clear anything that's in the console. Collapse will, if there's multiple things, if there's multiple outputs that are the same, it'll put them together and show how many there are. We'll go over that once we start programming. Clear on play will just clear the console when you hit play, and error pause just pauses the game when we bump into an error. I'm not going to go over the animation tab yet, or lighting, navigation, or profile. That's just for me. We'll be getting into that one day later, especially if you don't have that yet. In the scene view, if we go to, we can hit QWERT. We can change the tools that we're using. This one is a pan. This one is a the regular one that we were using earlier. So if you middle mouse click, you will pan. If you hold right click, you can look around. Hold right click and use WASD, and you can move around. And use shift. And yeah, that's about it. And rotate. And we have scaling, which you're not going to be able to see because this is a, here, I'll make a cube and scale it, as you can see. And this is for 2D stuff. That's for 2D scaling, positioning, etc. We don't have to worry about these yet. Hierarchy is everything in the scene. So if I select the camera and go to the inspector, it'll show me everything about that game object. So anything that's in the hierarchy is a game object, and it has properties. So, and in the inspector we can see those properties. So every game object has a transform, which is its position, rotation, and scale. And these components, these are called components, or I shouldn't be calling them properties, I should be calling them components because that's what they are referred to as in Unity. So you can change these to however you like. We put scripts here as well. And same thing for directional light. So to add things like directional lights and cameras, we can right click in the hierarchy. You could do things like copy, paste, rename, duplicate, delete, select prefab. Create an empty game object. It'll just be called game object, and you can just add whatever components you want. I'm just going to delete that. You can just select it and hit delete. You can make 3D objects like cube. You can make spheres, etc. Things like that. 2D, we don't have to worry about that yet. Lights. You can make directional lights, which act as a sun. You can make point lights, which act as, think of a lamp or a street light. Spotlights. Well, that's how they work. It's a spotlight. And area light, reflection. Area light, I'm not really sure what that does. I've never used it. Reflection probe is just for reflections, which we don't have to worry about yet. And light probe groups, we don't have to worry about that yet either. We'll get into that. Okay, so we can also add UI stuff, which we'll get into later. Particle system and camera. You have some stuff up here, like file, like to build your game, save your scenes and project, open other projects, etc. Edit, you can do things. You could play the game, pause a game, step, which just steps to the next frame. Undo selected changes. You could redo deleted game objects, cut, copy, paste, stuff like that. Assets. This is another way you can create assets, which is like what you do here. Create, and then we can create C# scripts, JavaScripts. I'm gonna call this Unity script because that's a better name. Shader, you can add shaders, prefabs, materials, things like that. Import packages like that come with Unity, which we will be using in the future. Game object, this is like right clicking in the hierarchy. Component is like this at component. Window is all the tabs that you can open, so I'll just, that's when I don't have Unity services. Yeah. And you can dock these however you like. So you can dock this here. Here you can put it on another monitor if you'd like. You also have a help tab in case you need to update your editor, things like that, manage license. And you also have easy access to the script reference. Okay, so that's how you use the editor. In the next episode, we're going to start putting everything together, and we're going to start working on the actual game. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.